Storytime part 2 on how my sister ended up accidentally dating my brother. So over the course of dating John for about 5 years, she picked up a lot of information about his life. Essentially, he said that he came back to his birth home to go to community college here after his dad passed away. In Germany. His dad never said anything about his mom, so he never knew name or any info. While this seemed kind of similar to our brother's story, she just wasn't thinking about it. It happened when she was so young that it just didn't really cross her mind. And my mom and her were not on speaking terms, so it's not like my mom could just recognize him. Anyways, since they were dating for so long, he ended up proposing to her. She was so excited and ended up bringing him over to our grandma's to spread the news. When they walked in, my grandma made the weirdest face. She asked what his name was and then broke down into tears when he said John. She was like, "Oh my God, that is your long-lost brother." And the only reason she knew it is because my dad had contact with her before he passed away. They were obviously very disgusted because they were engaged and had done the nasties. We now have family reunions now that my mom and her are on better terms, but it's still weird.
Part 2. So we thought that we woke their parents up and we heard someone walking up the stairs. So I ran into the bathroom, hid, and they asked if everything was okay. And I was just like, oh, I'm not feeling good. I think I caught whatever my best friend has. So they went back downstairs and we thought they went back to sleep. They were never asleep. So we decided to go onto the deck and finish the nastiness that we were doing. And I was like, oh, okay, we don't have to be that quiet now. Because their bedroom was in the front of the house and the porch was on the back of the house. And we were on the second floor, and below that there was another porch with like a fire pit and everything. And I could see below us. Well, out of the corner of my eye, I thought I saw somebody walk into the house. But stupid me, I just ignored it. Not even a minute later, I hear the sliding door open and I hear, and we all turn around and everybody's standing there. So they sent me home and told my parents, but I didn't get grounded because low-key my mom knew I was a hoe. Crazy ass story time about how my best friend's parents walked in on me sleeping with my best friend's brothers. And yes, I said brothers. So my freshman year, I became best friends with this girl. And she had 2 older, hot-ass brothers. One was in college, and one was a senior. Well, it was Christmas break, and her older brother from college was home. And my parents let me go with them to Florida for Christmas break. They had a super nice beach house, and I was sharing a room with my best friend. And the boys were sharing a room. And our room was connected because there was a bathroom in the middle. Well, my best friend got super sick the first 3 days of the trip, so she didn't do anything with us. So I was hanging out with the boys all the time. Well, the one night we were on the deck and we started to play Truth or Dare. And one of them asked, would you sleep with us? And I said, yeah. So at around 3 a.m., I snuck into their room and things started to get real nasty. There are kids on this app, so just use your imagination. And things started to get really loud and we woke their parents up, like for part 2.
The weirdest thing that ever happened to my family is my sister finding out she was dating our long-lost brother. You're probably asking, how did this happen? So when my sister was about 1, my mom was pregnant with another baby. She ended up birthing my brother, but me being 1 year old really didn't understand. You really can't comprehend that you have a brother at that age. And fairly soon after this, my parents ended up getting a divorce. So my dad was originally from Germany and he decided to move back. Well, because you can't really do weekend visitations in Germany, my parents made the executive decision to split up the kids. My mom kept us and my dad got my brother. And we honestly didn't care. We didn't really know what was going on at that age. And after that, we didn't have any more contact. So fast forward 20 years later, my mom and my sister aren't really talking because of a whole separate situation. And she was going to our town's community college and met a boy. We can call him John. Well, John asked her out on a date and they ended up dating for 5 more years. Over the years, she learned stuff like his dad was from Germany, his dad passed away, and he didn't really have any contact with his mom. Follow my Insta for part 2.
Storytime, my boyfriend beat up his ex-girlfriend because she tried to kill me. So it was my sophomore year in high school and I had just gotten with this guy who was fresh out of a relationship. And let me tell you a little bit about his ex-girlfriend. So before him and I even started dating, him and his ex-girlfriend were together for 2 years. And guys, this girl was fucking psychotic. Let me give you a quick example. Last year, I had a class with him and her, and the teachers assigned partners for this one project. Well, her boyfriend got paired up with this other girl. And anybody who would even talk to her boyfriend would get jumped by her and 8 of her friends. So his girlfriend starts being buddy-buddy with this girl, and his girlfriend goes, oh, do you want to come to the bathroom to hit my dab pen? So the girl says, yeah, thinking that she's being all nice and shit. So they both go to the bathroom, and they're gone for 25 minutes. So I asked to go to the bathroom because I want to see what's going on. So I walk into the auditorium bathroom, and nobody's really around that bathroom. And this bitch is getting beat the fuck up. Like for part 2.
Part 2. So my cheating boyfriend didn't show up to my birthday party. Instead, I invited one of his friends, who I knew had a crush on me. Let's call him Bob. Well, Bob and I started hanging out all the time. Behind my boyfriend's back, of course. My boyfriend and I would hang out less and less. Well, Bob started catching feelings, and he asked me to break up with my boyfriend and to basically come clean to him, and I said no. I had no intention of leaving my boyfriend. I just wanted to get revenge, and honestly, it felt really good to do that. Bob got really upset because I didn't want to break up with my boyfriend, and he went off. Started hearing rumors around the school about me hooking up with Bob. My boyfriend asked me about it, and I said, I don't know where that's coming from. I haven't hooked up with anyone. My boyfriend didn't believe me. My boyfriend went to a party that night, and he didn't invite me, which, of course, you know what that means. I asked Bob if we could hang out, so I went over to his place. We're on his couch kissing, and my boyfriend comes in through the door.
Story time about how my ex caught me cheating on him.
My ex was the biggest player in my college. All the girls knew him, and everyone warned me not to hang out with him. Of course, I didn't listen. He asked me to be his girlfriend, and I said yes, of course. We had been going out for a few months, but every time he would go to a frat party, I would hear from someone else that he had been cheating on me or that he was trying to hook up with other girls. And I would ask him about it. He would absolutely deny it and say that people were just trying to separate us because they were envious of our relationship. I believed him a little bit, but something told me I shouldn't. So of course, I decided to check his messages, and guess what? I found a bunch of messages between him and girls that he went to class with. I confronted him, and he denied everything. He said those were not his messages and that I was probably making things up. He deleted the messages before I could take screenshots. It was around the time of my birthday, and I was planning a party, and I told him he couldn't come to my party because I was upset at him. I made sure to invite a friend of his to my party who I knew had a crush on me. So his friend and I got really cozy at my party. We started hanging out every single
After much thought, I decided to tell my husband and proceed from there. My husband lost it. At first, he thought it was a joke, and we talked about the issue and we decided we should first talk to our son before telling my brother. My son confessed to everything and said they started sleeping together last February when he was 17. My son said it started on sister-in-law's birthday party that they attended, and they got drunk and slept in the bathroom and have been meeting at hotels ever since and sneaking off at family gatherings. After my son's confession, my husband just lost it and told my son to leave the house and go to our condo in town, and he didn't want to see him for the time. When my son was gone, my husband stormed into my brother's room and told him everything. My brother lost it and packed his stuff, took the kids, and left. He asked where my son was because he wanted to teach him a lesson. We didn't tell him, and he eventually left. My sister-in-law wasn't home when we told him, and she hasn't returned since. In all the screaming and shouting, my daughters heard everything and are now devastated that their family might be ruined and they miss their brother, and they're afraid my husband won't ever let him in the house again. My brother won't answer my calls or text messages. My husband says I should give him time to heal. My son has left the condo because he's afraid of what my brother will do to him, and he's now hiding at a friend's house, and he won't tell us which friend. No word on sister-in-law either.